go with what spurs your moments of inspiration and creativity.
Welcome to the Big Brand Theory Podcast by Blackwood Creative.
With Chris Do, like it was really interesting when you started talking about like allowing yourself to be bored. You know, like allowing yourself to your mind to kind of wander, and then inputting things into your mind by exploring what other creatives are doing and exploring videos and different things like that you're not putting things out. You're just taking it in and just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna sit here and I'm just gonna, let my mind wander, which is why so many people are like, oh, I thought of this idea when I was in the shower. Because I'm just sitting here washing my hair and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. Because you're in a time where like, what else can you do but think? Like, yeah, you're washing, but like that's mindless at this point.
Right, and that's where your mind wanders.
Yeah. Your mind wanders, and that's a good thing. And I think, especially me, from being so focused on like productivity and like getting things done, I'm very busy. It does feel like when you do have that time, you're like, I should be doing something.
Yes.
I should be accomplishing something. And it's like, no, you should.
This is part of the time. Like, I think that's the whole point of it, is to literally untask it. Untask your creativity. Like, that's the headline for this episode, is don't think of it as a task. Don't think of it as like something that has to be done within a certain time frame. Like when you were talking with Chris and he was explaining about, I carve out time to be bored. And that kind of really stuck with me when I watched that episode, was like, you want to go through and do as much as you can, but sometimes doing the most is doing nothing. So like, it's good to just sit down and like turn on, have a random TV going on with something that you're not watching, or having music on or whatever. Something that's not part of your tasks, something that's not part of your normal duties, that's the outside that you're going to wander in, because you're not doing what you feel like you should, what's a normal occurrence for you. Mm-hmm. And I think that right there is like the ultimate answer, is go where you're not used to.
Yeah. And I think though there can be a temptation to be like, well, now I'm just going to do this thing, or like I've got some space, I'll allow my mind to wander while I play video games. And you got to be careful. Like you're not wanting to just do stupid stuff or mindless stuff. Instead, you're wanting to intentionally create space for your mind to breathe and stop, like working, and just kind of, maybe I'll read a book, or maybe I'll go sit out on the front porch and just sit and just watch and listen to the birds, or whatever it is that thing could be to help you just chill for a bit. And then in that process, wander. I think for me, like going on walks is super helpful. I like watching certain types of videos on YouTube that are, right now I'm into watching this guy detail cars, because I like geek. Clean cars.
Yes.
But I also, it always is like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, look how he does that. Like, oh, I like how, how he did this with the video, or I like how, and so it's giving me ideas, and I'm just consuming, and I'm like allowing my mind to wander, because if you sit there and watch it, like he's just cleaning a car. So it's not like you gotta like be so focused, but it does like spur on some thoughts. And so there's different things that for each individual person that can be different, but it's really saying like, how can I create space in my calendar. Like our previous episode, we talked about delegating. How can I delegate some tasks out, some responsibilities out? So then I have space in my calendar and in my task list to be like, okay, I only have 3 tasks to do today. I'll get them done by 10 a.m. And then that allows me to be like, okay, I can have some space to read a book or to explore this topic that I've always been interested in or something like that. So allowing that space for your mind to be creative and just like bring in stuff, because then when you do that, you're going to get X amount of ideas and you're going to be like, that will work for this, or that problem you've been working on, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I think that will work. Like, I think I could fix that doing this, or whatever it is, generate some new ideas, and then you can come at it and go back into hustle mode after you've allowed yourself some creativity, time for creativity, and then go into hustle mode, and then you do it again.
That's the part too, is don't choose the same thing every time, because then it becomes like I know some musicians like have their space and like that's their writing space, and like when they go there, their mind enters a different whatever formula or whatever, and it churns them to create different content or write lyrics or whatever, and that's fine. But I think as any job or anything that anybody wants to do, it could be music, could be something that's actually not really thought of as creative. Like, it's creative, but it's an engineer. Like, you have to be really creative to be an engineer, because you're literally creating things that nobody's ever thought of.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, most people think of creatives as in like YouTubers or graphic design artists or photographers or any of that kind of stuff. I think of it in that aspect of like, this applies to every single job.
Yeah.
Everything. As an HR person, you could literally like have, instead of sitting at your desk and going through files or whatever, take 10 minutes, like step outside or go, do whatever, have a cup of coffee or something, and just detune your mind and don't think of the task. And odds are you're probably, when you come back, you're going to be so refreshed and you're going to have a new mindset or visual cue that's going to spur an idea for you to do something better. Mm-hmm. And I think that is the ultimate answer to creativity, is just, you set aside time, sure, but it's also the area that you're at. It's the time of day. Like you said, you like going on walks and whatnot. Like, I like going on walks in the mornings or at night. Like, I'll walk the Riverwalk and whatnot. But that is not necessarily my area that I go to like be creative.
Sure.
That is more of like de-stressing and all that. You can have ideas and whatnot, but like it's different for every single person. I mean, what we're talking about, relaxing, walking, coffee or whatever, to somebody else, it might be sitting in their car blasting music and just like closing their eyes and thinking about anything. Mm-hmm. And then automatically they get an idea. So it's like, go with what spurs your moments of inspiration and creativity. Go there.
Yeah.
Don't think that you have to like conform to this.
Right.
Like,
it's not one size fits all.
No, not at all. I just say whatever you're comfortable with, whatever spurs creativity, and like even reading books. Like, not everybody likes reading business books or self-help books or any of that kind of stuff. And then there's other people that really, really do. They like find pure inspiration on it. And I feel like it's crucial to just find what inspires you. And like, how people say with jobs, like, find your passion. Mm-hmm. Well, I think with creativity, you can't find your passion unless you allow yourself to be creative to find that passion.
Yeah.
So it's really like a setup of understanding yourself and understanding what makes you tick and what helps you generate your best work, and then go there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is like you've got to be intentional about it, because it's not just going to automatically happen. Mm-hmm. You've got to say like, I'm going to create space in my calendar. I'm going to create space in my day, whatever it is. And it doesn't have to be in the middle of the day. It can really, that's the other piece of it, paying attention to when is your mind most creative? Mm-hmm. When are you thinking of ideas? For me, oftentimes that's in the evening, you know, maybe after I put the girls to bed or something like that, where I'm kind of in that space where I'm like, okay, I'm shutting down for the night.
Yep.
And my mind's like, okay, you're going to wander and you're like, think of this thing or whatever. And so inevitably I'm like pulling up my phone, type, get it, you know, make sure I write down this idea or like create a task for me really quick to research this or something, but then put that away and just kind of allow that space. But I got to be intentional about it. And I can't just assume that it's just going to automatically happen, because otherwise I'll think of something and I'll go try to do it right then.
Right.
And now I'm back into hustle, grind, get it done mode.
Right. One idea, jumped right back into it, versus like spending the time to generate multiple ideas or go down multiple avenues to figure it out. Yeah.
I think there's an opportunity as leaders to help your team do this, encourage them, show them what it looks like, and even do it as a team, like team-wide. Like, what are ways that you can create space as a team to just let's go do this, like let's go watch a play or something in the middle of the day, or like let's go like create space for, we're gonna, you know, have a lunch together out in the park, and then we're gonna allow times for us to just kind of chill and like whatever, to just kind of be creative and think of things and observe different things that are going on around us. And then with the intention of saying, like, after this, like, what ideas came to mind? Like, what did we think about? Like, did anything pop out? Like, anything we can use as a team to become better? So there's always opportunities there. But if you think of it beyond just yourself and how can you do it as a team, now all of a sudden you've got exponential power from that idea.